name is James Long. I want to welcome y'all to Wiley Bryant's Mayor Kickoff event. I'm Wiley Bryant's treasurer. I was born and raised in Hopkinsville, but I want to talk about Wiley Bryant. I support him to become the next mayor of Hopkinsville 100%. And this is why. Wiley Bryant, the only time he was ever part of destruction in Hopkinsville when he was mayor before. 8 years of economic growth in Hopkinsville. Look at his record. Look at his record. A hit squad from slumlords demolishing dilapidated houses, the Walnut Street, the Boys and Girls Club, and jobs, jobs, jobs. There's a proven fact that one thing you can't dispute when Wiley Bryant was mayor for 8 years. Look at this. Monterina, Dux Auto Tech, Semi-Milling, Continental Mills, Grupo, Sun Chemical, MSSC, all those was under Wiley Bryant's leadership. And if you look at the track record of the 8 years when he was mayor and compare it, there's no match. And therefore, I'm proud to be on Team Bryant. And remember this when you think about pulling that selector for Wiley Bryant as an independent candidate. You tell your friends and your neighbors to look at his record, because Wiley Bryant is not a politician. He's a maverick, and I'm glad to be on Team Bryant. Wiley?
All right, maybe you should have been running for mayor. I would have helped you. Thank you all for being here. I have a short speech here that I want to give before I give my real one, and this is just from my heart. Most days I rise at 4:44 a.m. I treasure my quiet time. This morning I looked over and noticed a picture of my mother. Then I looked at several pictures of my daddy. Tears rolled down my unshaven face. My mother was an FDR type Democrat. My daddy was an Abraham Lincoln type Republican. My parents gave me such a start with understanding the importance of work over welfare and the importance of fairness and justice for all. They often demonstrated compassion for the down and out. My parents were adventurers. My daddy volunteered to be a flying tiger in World War II and went off to foreign lands. My mother left Hopkinsville to work in the Empire State Building. They both returned to Hopkinsville, married, and I was the first child. They taught me an exceptional love for this city. I dedicate this campaign to their memory. I was born to dare. I ask you to dare with me. Seabiscuit was a comeback racehorse. I've read the book, I've seen the movie. If you haven't, I encourage you to see it. He was a comeback racehorse. You voters are going to make me the comeback mayor. I want to ask you to campaign as hard as you can. I'm your horse and I won't let you down. We will redefine the mayor's job description to leader. Right now it's cheerleader. Carter Hendricks is the money candidate, but the issues are on our side. One example, at a time Hopkinsville needs a new ladder truck and a new fire station, Mayor Hendricks raises taxes and borrows money to build a nobody park on Woodmill Road. I am physically conservative. I won't raise taxes and I will stop debt. The winds of change are blowing. These are perilous times. Most everyone knows spending sprees and runaway debt are counterproductive to smart economics. And a little side note, over here was the best economics teacher I ever had, Dr. Gil Mathis. He used to be chair of the economics department at Murray. He drove over. I had no idea he was going to be here. Thank you. The mayor has said that the best days are ahead for Hopkinsville. Without a taxpayer revolt, I don't believe that. The mayor is spending way more time and money trying to make us a tourist city instead of a job city for our own people. My platform is all about people. I will definitely be your People Over Projects mayor. Here's how. I'm going to move the Chamber of Commerce Workforce and Education Initiative to the mayor's office. Your mayor will co-lead this effort. We will partner with Hopkinsville Community College with special emphasis toward public school juniors and seniors, including internships and job shadowing. Back in February, I taught a job training class, Jobs for Life. Briefly, I want to ask a couple of my students to share with you. Bree, you want to come up?
Hi, I'm Bree. Mr. Wally wanted me to read first, before I tell you my story, a letter from one of the other people that were in the Jobs for Life class with us. It says, I know without a doubt God sent you into my life to help me do what I couldn't do by myself. And for that, Wally, I am forever grateful. Thank you, Tyler Finnan, a student from Jobs for Life. I was in Mr. Wally's class for 2 weeks. It was a boot camp, and he taught us how to become better people in workforces, and he's changed my life in 2 weeks, and I can only imagine what he can do for Hopkinsville in 4 years.
Bree is working at Teletech, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Christy Fisher, and I am Wally's campaign coordinator. I also met Wally through Jobs for Life. It was a great class. He has changed my life. He's changed my daughter's life. He's changed our family's life. I'm like her. If he can change our lives in 2 weeks, what can he do for the city of Hopkinsville? I moved here 25 years ago from Dallas, Texas. Needless to say, it was a shock. But I've grown to love this town as much as I do Dallas, if not more, because I chose to stay here and make this my home to raise my children. I wouldn't choose any place else to raise my children. Now with Carter under the helm, I question things. Are we gonna have money for my kids when they get older? What's the city gonna be like when my grandson gets old enough? With Wally, I don't have to worry. I know he knows what the people here need. He will be your people's mayor, the people's mayor, for us. Thank you.
Carefully, wow.
I will.
Okay. All right. We're going to change the psychology of this city from welfare to work over welfare. We will fight crime with work and expanded community policing. Job training will lead to jobs, and jobs will lead to home ownership. We will focus on moving renters to homeowners. We will start a community reads initiative featuring titles like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that's a Dave Ramsey book, and Toxic Charity. We will remember the homeless and try to help them find work. We will fight poverty with work. We will fight teen crime with summer programs plus jobs. Statistics show that 27% of our children are growing up in poverty. 68% qualify for free lunch. I care deeply about the least of these, and I will do all I can to lower these awful numbers. I will attack slumlords. I will focus on ridding our city of them. We're going to win this election. I walked here this afternoon from my close-by home on South Main Street. It won't be long until I walk one more block down here to City Hall. This is a we, the people campaign. This will be an us effort. This is our city. Let's take it back. It's time for a taxpayer revolt. And I wanted to make sure that everyone gets one of these before you leave, and it will show you the record of debt that is accumulating in this city. It's pretty telling. I hope that you'll pass this on to somebody else too, so people can begin to know what the real facts are in Hopkinsville. And that's pretty much it for me. I was going to open this up to see if anybody else wanted to just say a word. If anybody here wants to say a word, come on up, and you're welcome to. Nobody has to, but if anybody wants to, come on up.
The last thing I want to say is for you all to please tell your friends to take a look at what Wiley has done for the city when he was mayor for 8 years. If you just take a minute before you walk out that door and glance through that book and look at the economic impact he had on the city of Hopkinsville during his 8 years, you'll be amazed what he has done for this city for the 8 years that he was mayor. It's all documented. It's not, you don't have to take my word for it. It's all documented on the economic development that he had on Hopkinsville for 8 years. Look at it and pass it along to your friends and your neighbors. And remember, Wiley is for everybody, not just for a select few.
Thank you. Will, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'll say something.
All right.
I don't really have a choice now. I wanted to say something. So I'm proud to be Wally Bryan's oldest son, and I have to admit I was a little shocked when he told us all that he wanted to become mayor again. At first we kind of tried to talk him out of it. We felt like maybe he was at a stage in his life. He definitely doesn't need to be mayor. He doesn't need the money, but he's got the passion for the city, and he wants to do what he can to improve things here. I'm personally great friends with Carter. I have a lot of respect for him. But you know, the more I looked at what my dad was talking about, the more I agree with him. We're in a position right now in this city where we have tremendous debt. If the facts are right, from what I'm hearing right now, overall city debt is up 70%. I believe that's what the numbers are over the last 4 years. That's very significant. I love the programs that we've got here in Hopkinsville. I love a lot of the things that Carter is doing. I really appreciate and like. But I think as a business owner and as a homeowner, we have to look at everything that we get and look at the financial aspect of that and how it affects our children moving forward, and that sort of thing. I think there's a lot to consider when we're spending millions and millions of dollars. So with that said, I'm very excited about my dad running. I'm excited to be in his campaign and supporting him. I do think this is going to be an election where it's very important that each of you gets out on foot and talks to your neighbors, talk to people at church, do whatever you can to support him. We are in a position right now, this is an important, I think, fact that I'm learning right now. Social media, I'm on Facebook, but I'm not the most technical guy. I guess I don't use it enough. I'm learning very quickly, though. I've sent out a few posts about my dad, and quickly I started getting Facebook messages, text messages on my phone, and phone calls from various people saying, hey, I support your dad. A lot of right-wing Republicans who are very, very upset about the spending. Honestly, people that I kind of figured were going to vote for Carter. And the vast majority of those people are the ones that are calling me. So, you know, I think it's important to realize that when you talk to people, that even though they may not get out in the community and speak a lot about it, that if they tell you they're supporting Dad, I think they probably are. You know, I'm trying to think about anything else that's important right now to say. I mean, I totally agree with my dad. The privacy of the voting booth is my dad's. That's the biggest asset for him in this campaign, because there are a lot of people that are going to vote for Wally that don't feel comfortable in the community really telling people about it unless they're in small circles. And when I think when they're in small circles and they talk about the issues in Hopkinsville, I think it's not uncommon for his name to come up quickly and for people to say, you know what, he's the man for the job. It's not about who you like. I mean, I hate to say that. It sounds kind of bad to say that, but I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't like Carter. I mean, Carter's a fantastic person. My dad's a fantastic person. But, you know, when you're talking about an election and a mayor's race like this, or, you know, really any of these races, a mayor's race, in my opinion, is very, very important. And you should consider spending, you should consider every angle, you know, and, you know, again, I appreciate all of you watching this, listening to this, everybody who came. Thank you for this opportunity to get up and speak. I didn't know I was going to. I hope I did okay. And you all have a blessed night and a safe trip back home. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? I do. Okay. Step on.